Welcome to Module 3, Episode 5 of the Data Science Ascent series on probability. In this episode, we'll explore how to think in terms of uncertainty, moving from abstract concepts to practical code. By the end, you'll be able to reason through uncertainty with the same confidence you use for NumPy arrays. This program is brought to you by the Series of Thoughts team and Technovative AI. In this video, we'll cover 5 key segments, starting with probability as counting, then moving into conditional probability, Bayes' rule using natural frequencies, and finally, base rate dominance. We'll simplify these concepts into 3 rules that will change how you approach statistics. Let's begin with a paradox. If a disease affects 1 in 1,000 people, and a test is 99% accurate, what happens if you test positive? Most people, even many doctors, guess 99%. But is that correct? Keep that answer in mind as we move forward. The common intuition of 99% is actually far from the truth. The real probability is closer to 9%. This might seem surprising, but by the end of this video, you'll understand why this happens and why it won't seem difficult anymore. Our learning objectives for this video are clear. First, treat probability as a calibrated degree of belief. Second, master conditional probability. And third, apply Bayes' rule through natural frequencies without needing to memorize complex formulas. Let's start at the ground floor with the definition of probability. Simply put, it's the number of ways an event happens divided by the total number of possible outcomes. For a fair die, the chance of rolling a 3 is 1 out of 6, or about 0.167. There are 2 flavors of probability, theoretical and empirical. Theoretical relies on understanding the rules of a situation, like dice or coins. Empirical probability, which we use in data science, comes from observing what actually happens in data. Here is a secret. In NumPy, Boolean masks are essentially probability computations. When you call .mean on a Boolean array, you are calculating the fraction of true values, which is exactly the probability we've been talking about. NumPy acts like a casino for simulations. If a probability problem gets confusing, don't just argue with it. Simulate it. By running thousands of trials, you'll see your simulated probability converge to the theoretical answer, a powerful tool for any data scientist. You might notice we use a random seed in our code. This locks the random number generator, making our simulations reproducible. It's not cheating. It's essential for consistent, reproducible science. 42 is the common convention, but any integer will do. Use simulation as an intuition checker. It is your proof engine. When your gut feeling clashes with the math, let the simulation be the referee. Follow these 3 steps. Formulate the question, generate your scenarios, and compare the result to your intuition. Next, let's address conditional probability and the direction trap. The formula P of A given B is not the same as P of B given A. Confusing these directions is a common and dangerous error in fields ranging from law to medicine. Conditional probability essentially means narrowing your focus. When we say P of A given B, we restrict our universe to only the cases where B is true, then check the fraction of those cases that also satisfy A. The order of these terms matters immensely. Consider these 2 directions side by side. P electronics given high value helps us characterize big spenders, while P high value given electronics helps us characterize the electronics category. They provide different insights because they start with different reference universes. Direction errors can have real-world consequences, from misjudging evidence in a courtroom to misreading medical tests. In data science, understanding these conditional relationships is vital. Remember, just like in correlation, directionality is key. This visualization shows the direction trap. Note how the numerator remains the same, but the denominator changes depending on which group you are conditioning on. That choice of direction fundamentally changes your answer. Now let's look at Bayes' rule through natural frequencies. Forget algebra for a moment. Instead, imagine 1,000 concrete people in a room. Counting them directly is the most intuitive way to grasp how Bayes' rule works, even if you typically dislike math. If 1,000 people walk in and one person is sick, we have a clear starting population. After testing everyone, the test's 99% accuracy reveals one true positive and about 10 false positives. This shifts the focus from abstract percentages to real, countable people. This 1,000-dot grid is the centerpiece of this episode. Look closely. For every single orange circle around a red dot, there are 10 around gray dots. The test is accurate, but the disease is simply too rare. Here is the breakdown. Out of 11 positive results, only one is a true case, leading to a probability of roughly 9%. We arrived here by counting, not by using a complex formula. It's simple, direct, and far more intuitive. Let's prove this with NumPy. By simulating 1 million patients, we can programmatically confirm our counting results. Running this simulation will show the value landing around 0.090, confirming that our intuitive dot counting was correct all along. The simulation results clearly show how false positives overwhelm true positives. In this scenario, we see about 900 true positives against nearly 10,000 false positives. It is a perfect demonstration of Bayes rate dominance. Now, we can finally look at the formal algebra of Bayes' rule. It should feel like a direct translation of the counting method we just practiced. The formula is just a mathematical way to describe what we already saw with dots. The general lesson here is that Bayes rates dominate. When you test for a rare event, even a very accurate test will primarily surface false alarms. Understanding this is essential for interpreting data in any field. Bayes rate dominance is not just for medicine. It's crucial in data science for tasks like fraud detection, predicting customer churn, or identifying manufacturing defects. In all these cases, rare events make the Bayes rate the most important factor. Every rare event problem shares this same underlying math. Whether you're working with imbalanced classes in machine learning or simple screening tests, the rare event framing is your foundation for understanding precision and recall. Notice how the usefulness of the test changes as the Bayes rate shifts, even while keeping the test accuracy fixed at 99%. This reinforces why screening programs require careful policy, not just a high-performing algorithm. We've mapped out 3 key concepts, starting with simple counting, moving to conditional probability, and ending with Bayes' rule. Each layer builds on the one before it, so start at the bottom and work your way up. You now have a universal NumPy template for any 2-event conditional probability problem. Just plug in your event probabilities and let the code handle the complexity. It's a powerful tool to keep in your data science kit. To recap our 3 rules, treat averages as probabilities. Watch out for the direction trap in conditional logic, and always remember that Bayes rates dominate. Master these, and you'll navigate uncertainty with confidence. Let's review the key vocabulary from this episode. We have defined empirical probability, conditional probability, Bayes rates, false positives, and posterior probability. Each term serves as a building block for your work in the upcoming notebook. Your hands-on deliverable is to complete the probability notebook. This involves 3 components: calculating empirical probabilities, rebuilding our disease test simulation with your own data, and interpreting the results, specifically how the Bayes rate affects your outcome. This exercise is a foundation for what's next. The simulation techniques you've practiced will return in Module 5 as we dive into machine learning. Concepts like precision, recall, and class weighting all rely on the same Bayesian logic you've mastered today. Coming up in Episode 6, we'll explore what happens when you average many uncertain things. We will introduce the central limit theorem, the most important shape in statistics, to explain why the bell curve appears so often in your data. You're now a more effective probabilistic thinker. You know how to count, simulate, check your direction, and respect Bayes rates. These skills distinguish data scientists who simply run models from those who truly understand what their data is telling them.